I would like to introduce you to the guest who really makes 3D printing look a lot of fun. You know, she's the only person I've ever seen cook cookies on the hotbed of her 3D printer, guys. Welcome. Give a big hand to Misfit Printing. Hey, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, good. Well, thanks so much for having me here. I'm super excited to be here.
No problem. I'm glad to finally meet you. Glad to finally have a chance to talk with you. I know I've always wanted to see if you're coming to any of the Rep Rap festivals or anything. Do you ever attend the Rep Rap festivals? And I've
I've
just
never
missed you.
attended a festival before.
Oh
I'm
no.
thinking about the Rocky Mountain Rep Rap, so
Oh, you
I don't
should
know.
do it.
It's definitely on my agenda.
You should do it. It's a lot of fun, and I know people would really, really enjoy seeing you. I'll be there. I'm gonna be hanging
Okay.
out with Filament Stories at a table. We're just gonna be doing our normal little thing, and I think we got a couple of other people who are gonna jump in with us. Let's see if anybody else is in the room. Are you seeing people you recognize in the room yet? You want to do a shout out to?
Oh, oh yeah. I mean, it's like all the traditional people. I saw Grimlock was in here, Platypus Stat, Alien Destination. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
the gang's all here
I
tonight.
know, right? Spicoli showed up. Look at that. We got all the important people tonight, guys. Thank y'all so much. We're above 4,000 already. That's really, really, really awesome. So, how's your day been? You had a good day?
Yeah, it was a great day. I can't
Okay.
complain. No complaints here.
What's the weather like where you're at? Is it like, or is it just dry, hot days, or is it raining right now? What's the kind of season that's going on?
Yeah, well, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm out here in Phoenix, Arizona, and we're it's kind of the calm before the storm right now. So it's still beautiful weather, nice like 60s, 70s, 80s, but pretty soon we're gonna be coming into that hot multiple hundred
Oh,
degree
I
days.
gotcha.
So
I gotcha.
not too excited.
But it's a dry heat, right? They always say that.
Yeah, that's what they always say. It's a dry heat, but
Who
yeah,
cares?
I'm
It's
I'm
heat.
usually sweating either way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's heat. It's heat no matter what. Well, that's awesome. So, what are you drinking or eating this evening? I always ask that question.
Well, I have my leftover monster from
Look
earlier
at
today,
that.
and then yeah,
Look
I
at
have
that.
just a little concoction here as well. But yeah, I got
I,
a couple of drinks rolling right now.
I like the word concoction. We may have to
Of
dig and
course.
see what's in that concoction. I know I've got a little wine, so I'm getting
Oh,
ready for
okay,
tomorrow
good.
night, which is our wine and paint, right? And I think you're
Right,
coming.
right. I am, yes,
Awesome.
yes. I
Do you have
for
your
anyone who
bunny?
hasn't printed them yet, I do have my bunny here.
Awesome.
So I've been
Yeah.
seeing everyone else printing theirs out, and yeah, I'm pretty excited. Yours looks like it's primed already.
I did
I should
prime it.
prime mine. Yeah, yeah, I need to do that still.
What's up, guys? Step Sergeant Industries. Good to see you in here. We got Chris Creates Prints hanging out. Nate, hey, thank you. Spicoli, Nate, Redneck Forge, Lee Shepherd, Diano. Thank you for the gifts, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that heart me up there. Now, have you ever gone live on TikTok in widescreen before? Have you?
No, I never have
I
actually.
know,
I didn't even
right?
know you were talking about it. I never knew.
So, guys, just so you know, before you do this, hit that little heart me up by my name, but then come down to the bottom right hand corner, hit that little square there, and it will rotate your screen. I always do that backwards. I made it. And you'll have wide. You can even swipe the chat out of the way if you want to and have it, full screen glory, guys, and you'll see the most of what is going on tonight. Let's see. I might get over here to my notes and start working on a couple of things. So, la 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 la. There we are. Oh, you finished your helmet recently, didn't you?
I did,
You
yes,
did.
finally.
Is it anywhere close nearby? I don't.
Ah, yes, yes,
I
yes,
don't want to make you
yes.
have to. I wanted to see that before we start. I've got lots of questions about the stuff she does, guys, and
Yes. So it's
it's
only taken us a year to get here, but we're finally done with it. So yeah, I need to ship this out to Jake DeRosa. This is who I did a kind of trade off with these on. So it's getting shipped out to him pretty soon. So it was good
okay.
timing that we did this when we did.
Okay, so basically, you choose the same print to do, and you print it, you paint it for the other person. Or is it like you paint it in your style and you're going to give it to the other person kind of thing? Or do you try to make it match the other person? What's kind of the philosophy behind that?
So it kind of evolved over time. Jake was the one who reached out to me, and he, just suggested that we both print out Mando helmets and we could kind of do a project together, and at the end that we could trade. he started his, he finished his way before his, but as he started working on his, he was like, well, I'm going to do this because it's more, Misfit-esque, and did
Okay.
all these different things to it. So over time, I kind of shifted mine to be more his color scheme, and we both ended up with helmets that kind of reflected our own style. So that
That's
was pretty
cool.
cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
My very first video on TikTok, and most of the guys in the room know, my very first video was Mjolnir. Now you've been online, and we'll
Oh,
talk about your social uh, later, but I've been online about 4 months longer than you. So, and you started in 2022. I just finished my Mjolnir about a month ago. So,
I'm glad we're on the same page there
yeah.
because I think this might have been like the longest worked on Mando helmet in history. So yeah, I'm glad that it's not just me who takes part in
No,
finishing
I
projects.
asked a question of the chat room one time, and I'm gonna start calling y'all the peanut gallery. I asked a question of the peanut gallery one time. How many projects do you have sitting there that you need to work on? And they all kind of left. They they didn't want to talk about it. They were done.
Yeah,
So
that's the story of my life. My whole office is cluttered with unfinished projects right now.
we got Lee Shepard. Um, oh, the daughter wants to kick you off the phone so she can log in. What? No, don't let her do that. Uh, and Texas Leo says, quick, someone loan me some fingers so I can count. I think, yeah, we got people pleading
Yeah.
the fifth and everything all over the place. I totally get it. And yes, Step Sergeant, we do all finished projects every now and then. Not all the time,
Yeah.
just every now and then. Guys, keep going with those taps. We're above 7,000 already. Thank you so much. That's really awesome. Thank you for the gifts. We got 3D Shep. Thank you for the Heart Me, Tooling Lease, and a paper crane. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that. And we're just going to kind of start digging into Misfit's life here. We're going to ask her all the deep, absorbing questions and just really, really get to find her out tonight. So if you have any questions, guys, put that in the chat. I'm going to cough. Excuse me, but put it in the chat and we're going to start moving forward with this. Now, she is the host, and the first thing I'm going to talk about, she is the host of Meet the Makers, which is another video podcast, audio cast like this. So, how long have you been doing Meet the Makers?
Man, it's hard to say exactly when I started. I want to say it's probably been 6-ish months ago that I kind of first started it. We had definitely a long period where things kind of fell off, but just getting back into it now. So yeah, it's been definitely quite a few months now that's been going on.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Now, what inspired you to do this? Why was this something you wanted to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like definitely the podcast boom over the last couple of years. So I feel like so many people are getting podcasts, and like it's something that like has driven me to do so many different things in life. Is actually like I'm a huge introvert at heart, and like I'm not like naturally like prone to talking to people super often. So it was actually like for me kind of something I wanted to get into to kind of just like push myself outside of my comfort zone and just get better at like holding conversations, initiating conversations with
Okay.
people, and in turn, I got to meet so many cool people along the way. So yeah, it's been a
That's
fun
awesome.
adventure.
That's awesome. Yeah, we do some of that around here. We had a debate night the other night.
Yeah.
And I was actually inviting people from the peanut gallery to come in and debate topics
Oh, cool,
and
cool.
I was asking them to debate the opposite of what they believed. And so, like, never dry your filament, always dry your filament, or, it was a lot of fun.
I love that.
And so we have a lot of fun like that. So I totally get that. Now, how do you decide who you're going to interview? What do what process do you go through?
Yeah, so I don't have it public anymore because it's just like a huge backlog, but I just had a forum and anybody like could sign up for the show. And I think the fun thing about that was the people like I mean everybody's been such an interesting guest to talk to, but it's almost the people that didn't have a huge online presence and I didn't know a lot about them that almost became like the most interesting people to talk to. So
Okay.
there was no necessarily like criteria that eliminated anybody. It was really just like whoever was willing to be online, and yeah, it's been great so far.
Okay, that's cool. Now, when you're getting ready for an interview, how do you approach your interview? What's your process?
Yeah, so it's maybe a little embarrassing because I like if somebody's coming on, we book out our time and then like leading up to their interview, man, I just like go back in time and stalk the hell out of them. Like I like start at the beginning and I'll watch every single one of their videos. I'll like creep through all their social media and I kind of just make like notes of myself of different like projects that they've done or things that they have going on in their life. And I think to me, like what's really interesting actually about consuming people's content that way is, as opposed to seeing somebody's videos and they kind of just get scattered into your feed. And I kind of like to compare it to like listening to music on Spotify on shuffle versus like listening to a full album straight through. The way that you kind of just see their videos progress, like the way that their life progressed. So it's maybe something I would encourage people, even if you don't host a podcast, your favorite makers, to kind of go back and just like watch their videos chronologically because it's kind of a different experience.
Yeah, and I would totally agree with that. I mean, there's nothing like stepping into a link tree and just going through everything the person's done. And, I go through all the TikToks. I watched a bunch of your interviews. I really just kind of worked through, and I limit myself to kind of that link tree to see what do they want people to know? What do they, just kind of get an idea there and see what's going on. So that's cool. Now, when you start the interview, do you kind of have a storyline in your head or a narrative you're trying to follow, or is it just kind of a let's go kind of kind of thing?
Yeah, like I said, I'm brand new to podcasts. This is my first podcast I ever done. And it really in the beginning, it was very much just like holding it together for an hour to have a conversation with those people. I think as it's like developed a little more, I've tried to be more conscious of like taking like a unique angle with that person or trying to like get something a little more specific out of that interview. So definitely like just overall a skill that I'm trying to develop over time is just like getting better at like storytelling, especially in longer format content. I think like for me, short form content I find to be a lot easier to tell like that condensed little story, but it's something that I'm looking to like develop more in longer form content.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, guys, if you don't watch this podcast, if you don't listen to this podcast, get over there. She puts it on the red place. We always call it the Tubes of You or something. We always come up with some kind of funny name. Hop over there, check out this podcast. She does meet some really interesting people. A lot of them are people you might not even trip across because they're not necessarily 3D printing. They're not necessarily makerspace. They are makers, but it's like the whole world of potential people who make something. So it's pretty incredible, some of the people that you meet over there. So get over there, guys, and follow that. Let's see. We got Brady Prince in here. Brady made it. Says, note to self, do not do Meet the Makers with Misfit. That's pretty funny.
If you have deep, dark secrets, it's probably not the podcast to be on because I will find them out for sure.
Yeah, and for me, if you have deep, dark secrets, just don't put them on your link tree and I'll be good. All right? That's the important part. So awesome. But yeah, I think we kind of approach the same way. And that's one of the reasons I kind of wanted to start off at the beginning of just talking about your podcast and some of the other things that you do. And we'll talk about it more. But guys, for me, Misfit is not a 3D printer who does social media. She is an influencer creator who just happens to 3D print. Because if you watch her stuff, if you go through everything and you look and see what she does, 3D printing is only a part of it. It's only just a little bit of the life that she shows you and the things that she's doing. And what's really fun is I went through this and found a lot of things that we have in common. And it was really, really kind of exciting. And I can't wait to talk about some of those and maybe compare some of the things that that we have and do, and really, really interested in that. So, I always like to kind of step back into the past and look at a few things. Oh, good. Grimlock, I'm glad the bodies are well hidden. Thank you. That is very, very respectful of you. Thank you. So we're going to go back to 2022. September of 2022 was your very, very first TikTok. So let me get over here.
Oh boy.
I know, right? You never know what's going to happen. And this was the very first video I saw that you posted on TikTok.
So I've been 3D printing for a few weeks. I've been on Print Dog for a few days, and I've got to tell you guys, not only are y'all cool as fuck, but you're out here printing masterpieces while I'm printing these little guys. I forgot. Inspired, and I just want to say thank you.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
it.
you got to get that bleep button going over there pretty bad. Might be a frequent use on this podcast today.
I know. I love it. I love it. Somebody had told me that we saw it in the comments, and in the comments of one of your
Yeah.
posts, and somebody said to get it ready. So, guys, it's ready. I probably won't use it. I'm not too worried about it. No, so that was your very first video. And kind of looking at the evolution of your TikTok. So you started with TikTok. Why? What was the purpose behind starting your TikTok?
Yes, I mean, it's hard to even remember why TikTok in particular. Actually, before I had started on Print Talk, I was actually on Houseplant Talk under a different channel. So it's kind of where I first got into TikTok, and then I had bought a 3D printer actually for I was running a houseplant shop at the time, and thought it would be cool to kind of like integrate 3D printed pots into that. Just happened to pick up a 3D printer, and then kind of side tangent to that, just like thought it'd be cool to start a 3D printing channel, posted, and it kind of just took off from there. So
Okay,
yeah.
that's cool. Okay, so this is your second TikTok account,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
or one of potential multiples. Then
that's
okay,
true. Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
that's all. That's cool. I like people who kind of branch out. I know a lot of people do multiple accounts. Some do them as
yeah,
backups. Some do them as different topics so they can talk about things that might make other people angry and not kind of push them
yeah,
away from the channel they're wanting to
yeah,
do.
right, right.
There's lots and lots of different reasons to do that. So cool. I did not realize this was one of multiple. That's pretty
Yeah.
neat. So with this channel, you got into Print Talk, and so this one was purposely opened up to get into Print Talk.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I said, I just got the 3D printer, and
Right.
I mean, you might be able to imagine people who are really into houseplants actually are not big fans of 3D printers. They usually think that they're like wasteful or not.
Yeah.
They're just not that big of a fan of them. So yeah, it was kind of a good separation to have there of them.
And have you taken this to any other platforms as far as the 3D printing space?
Yeah, so, I would love to like eventually get to the point where I'm across multiple platforms. TikTok's really like my home base right now.
Okay.
I try and venture out into YouTube sometimes, but no, TikTok's really my home right
Yeah.
now.
And it's a good home. The 3D printing community of any community I've seen seems to just be a really good, for the most part, great people who really want to help and
Yeah.
just have some fun and do some things. And I really think it's a good community. Really, it really is. So you started straight in, but the channel seems to have morphed a little bit. It's
Yeah.
not just about 3D printing, although it weaves throughout. What is the goal? This particular channel, what are you trying to achieve with it?
Yeah, I wish I had a great answer to this question, and I really don't. Like, I never necessarily, when I started this channel, I didn't kind of set out with any particular goal, and you're correct for saying it's definitely morphed over time. It's become a little more general. And really, like, it's great to, meet new people, and it's great to have opportunities that like have come up from the channel, but like really it's just kind of like an outlet to have fun. And I've made content probably since I was 10 years old, and I don't think I'll ever stop making content. It's really like at my core probably the thing that I'm the most passionate about. So it's really just like an outlet for me to kind of do all the goofy little projects I would do anyways. And
Right.
it's just, by a byproduct, I get to meet a lot of cool people doing it. So yeah.
So you're like the embodiment of that little "everything is content" jingle. Or you didn't write that,
Yes.
did you?
I could have wrote it, but yeah, no, that's I definitely a philosophy of life here.
That's funny. The bane of my existence. Everything is content. I've tried
Yeah.
to shoot way too much, and half of it doesn't even hit the channel. It just kind of ends up laying in a computer hard drive somewhere.
Yeah, for real though. Yeah.
Yeah, guys, thank y'all so much. Hey, we're at 11 point. We're almost to
Nice.
12,000 likes. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for the gifts. I'm kind of looking through here. We got Tooling Lee, Texas Leo, all you guys. Thank y'all so much. Y'all always do so well for me, and I really, really appreciate that so much. I'm sorry I don't do the dances or the little, NPC thing. Y'all know that's not me. I'll wear a funny hat every now and then, and that's about it. But thank y'all so much for the support. Now, I always talk about value for value. I don't know as far as your show, Misfit, kind of how you support what you do. If it's just something you have the equipment, you do it, or if you have like a support structure where you're trying to get investment into it, or maybe bring in potential sponsors or that type of thing. Do you have any approach that you're working on in that way?
Man, I probably should have an approach, but
Oh,
no, it's very off the handle.
cool.
If you want to call it self-funded, I mean, my phone is our main piece of filming material, but yeah, it's a very I think like a thing I hear so often from people is like I want to get into content, but I don't have the right equipment. I'm not good at it. I don't know how to get started. And I that's like the one of the biggest things I love to encourage people is like there's nothing special that you need to get started. Like my back again, like I started content, I was so young and like I don't know if you remember these. I used to film content on one of those flip cameras that would like plug into a USB drive and they were
Yeah.
probably like 3 megapixels. And
Yeah.
that like that's what I started doing content on. Now like the cameras on your phone are better than like what professional cameras were 20 years ago. So it's a great time if you're out there and definitely like don't feel like you need to start with the coolest stuff or the best stuff. Like definitely you can grow into it over time.
Yeah, and we were talking the other night on Tuesday on my live. People were like, "What's the best camera?" I'm like, "The one you already own.
Yeah,
Go
for real though.
start. Just
Yeah.
work it out." That's awesome. That is good. And we're going to get into some more social media as we go. Guys, thank y'all so much. I was talking value for value. Remember, we always talk about time, talent, and treasure. The way you support this show is by giving of your time. The way you support her show is giving of your time. Go watch, tell people about it. Talent. If you have stuff you think is awesome that she could talk about, or people that she could interview, or I can interview, I'm always looking for talented people to talk to. Or if you want to help with graphics, or you want to help with the Discord, or you want to do any of that stuff, this is all community based, guys. And we're just all working together to make this happen. And I know she feels the same way with her show. She's always happy when people bring things to the table. And then the treasure. I don't talk about the treasure. I'm not worried about that part. I know if y'all feel you're getting value out of this, we'll be good. All right. So we're going to get back to the socials in a minute. This is where I want to talk about things we have in common. So this was some of the
Okay.
interesting. The guys see me show this stuff all the time. I don't know if you have anything around my favorite camera.
Oh, let me grab one. So for me,
Uh-huh.
this one isn't my favorite camera. My favorite camera is actually all the way back there. I have an old Rolleiflex,
Oh,
but
yes, yes, yes.
for a while I used to collect these Argus C3s and when I was younger I was like really into photography and I would take all these classes and I did like a lot of projects but one of them I actually froze like a bunch of old tech items in ice and this was one that I like froze in a giant block of ice. So yeah, I
Oh,
have
that's
all
cool.
kinds of weird things that I used to do with them, but yeah,
That's
the Argus
cool.
C3 is a good
Well,
classic.
this is my favorite. It's an Argo
Oh, nice.
Flex. I don't know if you know the Argo Flex. This is
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
75. And it was 1949. It's one of my. It still functions. The mirrors and everything still work
I
in
love
it. It'll
that.
take film and everything. This is one of my favorite. And so when you were showing and you did the camera planter and everything, that was just, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's so
Yeah.
awesome. I love it. And then you also have, like you were saying, plants. Plants are a big
Yeah.
thing for you. And I know a lot of the videos that you shoot, you have lots of plants. I'm a big gardener. I grow my
Oh,
food.
nice,
I do all
nice.
that kind of stuff. What do you have a favorite plant? Do you have something that you really like, or maybe the longest plant you've had?
Longest plant is probably my ZZ plant. I mean, like a
Okay.
ZZ plant is basically impossible to kill. So if you're one of the people out there who says you can't keep plants alive, that's the plant I would recommend for you. You can probably keep it
The
alive. So
ZZ
yeah.
plant. Everybody write that down. ZZ plant. Mason T, how are you doing tonight? Good to see you. I think I saw filament stories hanging around a little bit. How
Oh,
are
very
you
cool.
doing? Good to see you. We got Lady Invictus in here. And Invictus is here as well. Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you so much. We are talking to Misfit Printing tonight. Right now, we're kind of going through the things we have in common because as I watched her materials, yeah, we just had a lot of things. I'm like, oh yeah, I do that. I do that. I play instruments. She plays the violin. Did y'all know she played the violin? I
I need
love.
to correct on that. I don't play the violin very well, but I
I
did
know.
play at one point a little bit.
I know. But I think that's really cool. I think it's neat that that you get into an instrument. I think it's important that I'm into that whole well-rounded thing, and I think instruments
Yeah.
are really important for people to get into. We've had some interesting music conversations too about what kind of music do we work to, what do we
Yeah.
need, and then bird watching. This has been a
Ooh.
recent thing that you've started doing. Tell us a little bit about kind of like, I know you bought that one birdhouse. How many birdhouses
Yeah.
or things are you up to? What are you doing for your bird watching?
I think I have like 4 bird feeders in my yard right now, and it's not a big yard. Like maybe you would think that it's big, but it's very small with just a lot of bird feeders. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm going through like some kind of quarterly crisis where I just decided I love bird watching now. But yeah, that's like I guess other like people are going out and clubbing and partying, and I just enjoy sitting home with my birds and watching them.
That,
So yeah, that's,
I love that, especially when it snows here
oh,
and
that's
going
so
out
nice. Yeah.
and because you generally put the bird seed out during the winter months when there's not a lot of stuff around for them to
Oh,
eat. And
okay.
so
Yeah.
in the winter, since everything's dead, we just kind of set up the bird feeders and I can go out on the front porch. That's when I pull my DSLR out and go take a bunch of pictures
Oh, that's
and,
great.
and do
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So that's always a lot of fun for me. And then I saw a video where you were setting up a fish tank.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, it's the hobbies never end in this house, but yeah, I've recently gotten into fish keeping as well. So I don't have any other pets, but yeah, my recent pet has been my betta fish, and I have some tetras and a snail in there as well. So yeah.
So your beta, and this was the thing that interested me. Your beta fish hasn't taken out the other fish in the fish tank.
No, no, it's a
Really?
very docile betta fish. I did a stupid amount of research before setting up my fish tank, and yeah, I like meticulously researched what fish could pair in there, and yeah, he's very docile, and
Hmm.
if anything, like the tetras might bully him a little bit, but yeah, it's
Oh, that's pretty
oh
funny.
yeah,
That's pretty.
yeah.
Yeah, I used to back in college. I had a 55-gallon tank,
Oh,
and
nice.
I love angelfish are like my favorite
Oh
fish,
yeah.
and so it was a tank of plecostomus and angelfish.
Mm.
That's all it was. And
Oh,
it's
beautiful.
I haven't been able to get one in this house yet. It's a little old, and I don't know if the 150-year-old
If the floor
floors
is a
could
little old,
handle
yeah,
it.
yeah.
but but that's been cool, and so that was really cool, guys. Now, any of y'all do fish? You,
Yeah, we're the fish people
yeah,
out
we're the
here.
fish people in this chat room, guys. Oh, snow near Misfit is a natural disaster. Yes,
Yeah,
100%.
that's true. But what you might not know is I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, which is like the snow capital
Oh
of
my
the
gosh.
country. We get
Yeah.
so much snow there. So yeah, snow's no, I'm no stranger to snowy days.
And the best place for wings. We have a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of buffalo wing people here. A lot of people
yeah.
in the room. They're the same people arguing over chili with beans or not.
Hmm. Interesting.
Anyway,
I will say if you're a Buffalo Wild Wings person who says you like wings, you don't know
yeah,
what you're talking about.
yeah,
So
yeah. I almost said that's kind of like the only wing place I have here, and it's 20
yeah,
minutes from me. So I kind of slipped. It's the only place I can get wings around here.
yeah, it's like the McDonald's of
There
wings.
you
I
go.
wouldn't
There you
wouldn't
go.
recommend.
That's awesome. Hey guys, thank you so much. We're 12, almost 13,000 likes. Thank y'all so much. Keep those likes going. Let's invite some people. If you see some people that are not in here, invite them. Kawaii Rogue, thank you so much for the gift. Thank you for that. We've got uh, who is this? Oh, Malin creates 4 birds to watch in my house. That's what. Oh, she must have birds in the house.
Oh, the internal
There we
birds. That's
go.
very cool.
There we go. Okay. We have Granny Susie who turned hers into a terrarium.
You see,
Oh,
that's on my agenda to do that. I think those are super cool people who do
really?
that.
Now
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I would have thought, especially with the love of plants and everything, that you would have already done. Have you tried terrarium stuff, or is it just?
Yeah, actually, so right around my fish tank, they're pretty tiny, but I have a bunch of terrarium jars, and I have this like specialty begonia in one that I'm very proud of. It's
Oh,
grown quite
yeah.
extensively. So yeah, I have a few
And those are
terrariums here.
gorgeous plants.
Yeah,
Begonias, I
yeah.
love a good begonia. That's awesome. And so what is your if you're thinking about a terrarium now, what are you thinking? What direction would you move? You're gonna do
You
desert,
know,
tropical, what?
yeah, I'm actually kind of interested in like a desert terrarium. I've
Okay.
never set one up on like a large scale, so I think that would be kind of a cool project to take
Okay.
on.
Okay, that's cool. That is cool. Traditional wings or boneless? We have Oxy's asking, traditional wings
Oh,
or boneless? Is that a
man,
question?
this is like the least Buffalonian thing for me to say ever. But my go-to wing order, we have a place called Duff's in Buffalo. It's like the famous wing place.
Okay.
And I'll get boneless barbecue wings with ranch, which like if you can't do it in Buffalo. You have to get hot wings with blue cheese with the
Hmm.
bone in. That's
Yep.
like the Buffalo way. So
Hmm.
yeah, I get hung on the cross when I say that to people in Buffalo.
Now say the name of that again.
Duff's. Duff's is
Duff's.
the
So
place. If you ever
Duff's.
pass through
Okay.
Buffalo, that's where you have
Yeah.
to go. Anchor Bar is the original, but Duff's is the best.
Okay. Okay. I pass through there periodically, so I'll have to stop through there
Yeah.
and see. Let's see what we got. We got Brady Prince. What are you saying over here, Brady?
Boneless wings are just
Boneless
chicken
or
nuggets.
adult chicken nuggets. There you go. Yep, I
That's
agree
true.
with that. Flats or drumsticks. Anyway, all right. Flats only, says Brady Prince. Okay,
Yeah,
interesting,
I'm with
interesting.
you.
I
I'm with
like
you
the
right there.
saucy. I like sauce. That's like I want a lot of sauce on my wings. I don't want them
Yeah.
too dry, not too dry.
Yeah.
So okay, cool. And then I think we share a love of energy drinks as well. That's kind of the last thing. You
Oh
have your
yeah.
Monster tonight. I had my Red Bull before the show. I always have some kind of energy drink around. Coffee is like the baseline, and then
Yeah, I
everything else.
start the day with a coffee, and then we divulge in energy drinks later on the day. Are you an energy drink loyalist? Do you have like a certain brand that you stick to, or do you venture out?
I'm generally a Red Bull person. I will go for a Monster. I've been trying some of the Celsius stuff as of late.
Yeah.
But I know that if I drink a Red Bull, I've got about 5 hours of focus that I'm
Okay. Yeah.
definitely going to get. And I don't know what it is about that. Red Bull is the only drink that does that to me. And
Interesting.
so, but yeah, I'm probably more loyal to Red Bull than anything else, but I do venture out periodically. Let's see. See if there's any other questions. Any other questions, guys? Anything y'all see? Any stuff that you've seen in her channel that you really enjoy that's not necessarily 3D printing that y'all want to ask questions about, talk about? Have you seen anything recently? You know, we talked about the helmet earlier and the swap and everything. Do you have any other projects like that you're working on? I think you said no more swapping right now and that you're doing some bigger projects or something.
Yeah, so I aggressively said no more swapping, and I hope it didn't hurt anyone's feelings. I have another swap that I am in the midst of, which is a holocron challenge that I said that I would do with Phil. So this one's probably gonna be pretty cool. I need to figure out how to light it, but yeah, we're each making holocrons and we're gonna trade those off too. So that'll be a cool project. But aside from that, no more
Okay.
swaps at the
I
moment.
might be holocron. I might be the ignorant one here. Explain holocron?
Man, I sure hope someone in the comments jumps in because I'm not the expert here, but I believe it's from Star Wars, and I believe that it's like an orb of a
Oh,
power of sorts. I'm
wasn't even
sure
thinking.
somebody is gonna
You're
correct
right.
me.
Now I'm gonna feel like a horrible Star Wars person. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm
great.
I'm
I'm
old
glad.
trilogy. I'm old trilogy. All these new things.
Okay.
Go away. Um, we got Carrot Box saying, Misfit, thank you for teaching me about 3D printing when I first got started. I
Oh,
know
that's
Brady
awesome.
Prince. Like I said, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed with the Star Wars. I get it. It hit me as soon as she said Star Wars. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, yes. And the word Texas Leo, we're going to get to that in just a second. Um, they're asking about your keycaps, and so we're definitely going to get there. So you know, we talked as we get into social media. I want to kind of go back to some social media stuff and talk about kind of how it's evolving for you, things that you're looking for, and everything. You know, guys, I've already talked to y'all about how she's not really a 3D printer. She is more of an influencer creator who just happens to 3D print. And that really seems to be kind of how it is. We've learned about the multiple channels that she has had and things that she's worked through and how she's been doing this. You know, I wasn't even a child when the internet was born, so I can't fathom being a child and putting myself on the internet like that. So I really think that's just an interesting experience that I've never had, that I think is pretty cool. But one of the things, you know, we always talk about live, grow, show, right? Those are our three words we always talk about. And I always reference them at the end of the show. But one of the things I want to talk about, living life to the fullest. That was one of our very first word, live life to the fullest. And what I want to do right now, part of living life to the fullest sometimes is stepping back and enjoying what you've done, enjoying the things that you have done. And one of the things I realized while I was studying all of the videos and everything on TikTok that she had done, guys, there is only one video since 2022, one video that has less than 2,000 views on her entire bio. One video with less than 2,000 views. Everything else is way above, 2005 on up. And that is incredible to me. Now, what do you think of that, Misfit?
I mean, it's crazy to me that even like 2 people watched the video. So, I mean, it's definitely, it's crazy for sure.
Yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. You don't run across a channel like that much. You can tell there's some experience there and everything and the way that she does stuff. And so one of the things we're going to dig into in a minute is kind of the ideas and how she approaches what she does and everything. But first off, let's see the keycap keyboard. I think we've had plenty of questions about that.
Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know, I've been, oh, my cords are all tangled up here. I've been working on this keyboard and I ripped most of the keycaps off. I have some here to keep my bearings, but ripped the keycaps off and have been slowly 3D printing different keycaps and placing them on here based on people's suggestions. So I don't know exactly how many we have on here at this point, but yeah, it's been probably one of my favorite projects up until this point so far. It's just been fun getting everybody's feedback and kind of like interacting with everybody. So
now kind of talk us through some of the keys that you have there. Now, are these like letter specific? The letter is represented in what is on it?
Yes. So when people make suggestions, they'll suggest, for instance, V for violin or for Mike Wazowski. And then as the keyboard starts to fill up more, this keyboard actually becomes more difficult over time because surprisingly, people always suggest P, S, R, T. It's like Wheel of Fortune. There's certain letters that people want over and over and over again. But I've for instance, Shrek is on here, but he's not S, he's O because he's an ogre. Or ogres are like onions. So I kind of had to get creative over time, but that's kind of how the keys get arranged, and we're slowly getting filled up here. So I'm excited for it to finally be done.
Now, I know you take suggestions on these, like you were saying. Do you have other suggestions that you're kind of working on right now, or is it you're just kind of waiting to see what comes?
Yeah, so it's really just like a pull out of the bucket hat every time I am in the mood to 3D print a keycap, and I probably have more suggestions than I could fill up 100 keyboards within a lifetime. But no, it's there's an endless pool of suggestions to pick from, and people come up with the most creative things. But it also makes me feel so old and out of touch because there's so many people who suggest things that I've never heard of in my life. So yeah. Yeah.
I gotcha. Yeah, I could see that. You have to do all the research and figure out what are they talking about. So you don't seem like you don't know. Oh, that's cool. All right. So how many do you think you have left? I know you don't know how many.
Oh, man.
What do you think?
Let's count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 letters. And then we have the numbers and then maybe these miscellaneous keys. I know people have been pulling hard for the space bar to be space. So I think we'll have to do that. And maybe some of these other miscellaneous guys over here.
That's cool. I like that project. I think it's really cool. Now, because I've seen that you've tried typing with long fingernails. You've done a lot of things around the keyboards, and that's been a really, really interesting one to follow. And you do really well. So many people, and I know I'm guilty of it, will go, "Oh, I'm going to do this project," and I do a video about it, and I might do a second video about it, but yeah, maybe one day. And it's in a box back over here.
Yeah, I'm the biggest culprit of shiny object syndrome, which is probably why this project took me so long. It's probably why the keyboard's not finished. I get so excited to do so many things that there's just an endless pile of open projects for me, which is fine. I enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, and you're good at it, and you're good at showing. That's one of the things that I enjoy about what you do, because you do make it fun. You really seem to find the twist. You're always trying to find that different perspective. I would have never thought about laser engraving hot dogs.
Yeah, and like that's like the fun thing about like the community aspect of this is like the more chaotic of like content I'm willing to make, like the more chaotic the comments get. And then like people are asking for their face to be on a hot dog. I know Kawhi Rogue asked for her face, her logo to be on a Taco Bell taco. So it's like just like a perpetual like chaos machine really is like the comment section is how I
Yeah,
look at it, which I love.
yeah, I would totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. Which that kind of brings me to an interesting thing. One of the other things I've noticed about your channel is you're very good at getting comments. You're very good. I know a lot of us struggle, and I know some of the people in the rooms really struggle trying to get people to engage with us, to make comments and do that. I know so many videos I end with it. What do you think? Leave your comment, leave it in the comments. And it's like, I get 5 likes and no comments. What do you have an approach? Do you have a way that's different than other people that makes people comment?
Man, I don't know if it's different than other people, but like there's definitely when I'm like filming videos or doing my voiceovers or things like that, I will like definitely sometimes go out of my way to say something like goofy that I just know people are gonna be like, why would you? I don't know. I
Okay.
just like sometimes I know people are gonna like react to certain like weird things that I say, but no, I mean I do think like the 3D printing community is cool in the sense that like it is very community based and very like people enjoy talking to each other. So even a lot of times it's like, when I was working on the Mando project, like it wouldn't even be related to that video. People would be like, what's happening with that project? Or,
Okay.
people are always just checking in on different things. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's cool. And that's the kind of, I'm trying to find those approaches. I've probably this whole, wine and paint thing I've gotten more comments on than anything else. And I'm getting a little better at kind of eking comments out of people, but
Yeah.
a lot of it seems to me it's more about the relationship I have with people. That if
Right.
I have
Yeah.
formed some good relationships, we interact with each other on our chats. Do you kind of see that same thing happen, or?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. It's like it's like the 80-20 rule, but it's like the 100 rule, really. 'Cause it's like the same, small little group of people who like are like the heart of like the community or like the heart of like the commoners or whatever you want to look at it as. But I think like there's a small sector of people who are really active in this community and really like are constant like just constantly in the comments, which is kind of cool because it's like all these friends that like you have never met or you don't really know that much about, but like you keep up with different things in their life. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's a cool aspect of it.
Okay. Okay. That's cool. So where you said you get your inspirations from the people online, but do you have kind of a pool of things that you go back to? Do you like keep a notebook? You jump up and out of bed at night and you write something down, or how do you come up with your initial ideas?
Yeah, so like on TikTok, I have a whole bunch of folders of like videos to like that are like inspiration or to react to and like sounds I want to make videos off of and like pinned comments that I want to respond to. And exactly like you said, like there's so many times I'll like wake up out of sound sleep and be like, man, wouldn't it be great to like make some pancakes on my 3D printer, string filament through my nose or something like that. And like no prompted that, but like it just seems like a fun thing to do. So it exists now. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and guys, if you're wondering about that whole filament through the nose thing, I'm gonna hear this is the one she's
Fun
talking
fact
about.
for you today. Did you know that your average 14 gauge piercing happens to be the exact same diameter as most 3D printer filaments? Like, how
Classic.
crazy
Now,
is this?
I
You know,
I
you
know
have to cut it at a
so
45
many
degree
people who
angle.
just
The
they wouldn't do that to themselves. They're like too embarrassed to do something like that, or they don't really want to, do something that weird. What made you think of that? Where did that inspiration come from?
Man, I wish I even knew. Like I was just kind of like playing around with my stuff and piercing one day. I was like, man, it feels like filament, like the same diameter. And I Googled it and I was like, what do you know? I was like, wow, it's actually the same diameter. And then it's like, well, see if it works. And then it's like, well, I've made this great discovery. I can't keep it to myself.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, it despite being like a shy introvert, I don't have like a lot of shame when it comes to posting content, which like I guess like for me this channel is like almost like I guess you could consider like some kind of like alter ego of like I'd say I'm much more like energetic and talkative and like willing to do crazy stuff that like maybe in a normal conversation, and I hate to say real life, but like off the internet that I might not have. So yeah, for me, I know a lot of people like are kind of self-conscious about posting things on the internet or being on video, but for me, being on video has always been a lot easier and a lot more natural than like in-person interactions. So I don't know if that's unique to me or if other people
Get
feel
that.
that way too, but yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I see a lot of people who are kind of similar, who are that same way. And before we move on, kind of move on from social media and stuff, would you have any tips for the guys, for the people in the room that are interested in kind of increasing their quality or increasing their followers or increasing what would be the first like technique or tip or suggestion you would give somebody when you were helping them with their social media?
Yeah, I mean, like, this is like such a dumb cliche answer, but like, definitely like be yourself, which is funny because I was just like, oh, I'm an alter ego of myself, but like, I think like don't be afraid to like go on camera and like say the weird and do the weird little things that you like think in your head, and like even if you're like, oh, nobody's gonna relate to it, like a surprising amount of people relate to me putting filament through my nose or cooking pancakes on my printer, but um yeah, I think that and like really just staying consistent. Like, I mean, I know a lot of people like first saw my content doing 3D printing and were like, oh, like it seems like you know how to do videos. But like I said, I probably started making content when I was like 10, 11, 12, around that age. So like I had like almost a decade of like being terrible at content before I like kind of started to get the hang of it. So like definitely if you're new to content, you're not getting any traction with it, and it feels like every video I post it gets 20 views and it's not growing, like it's definitely a long-term skill, and I'd say like don't give up on it too soon because I think it's something that like it's a skill everybody can develop, and I'm always the first person to say I'm like the least likely candidate to like be doing this. I'm not like naturally like good at things like this. So if you're out there, if you're shy, if you're an introvert, if you think you don't look good on camera, or if you think you're weird on camera, definitely don't let that stop you from like pursuing this if it's something that you want to do. And if it's not something that you don't want to do, that's okay too. But yeah, that's kind
Okay,
of like my main advice for people.
that's great. That is awesome. I think yeah, time. That's a lot of my mentor, the guy that I talk to a lot, always tells me. He says, you know, every business that was an overnight success took 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
You know, and that we see it as something quick, as something that just
Yeah.
happens, but there's this whole undercurrent that happened before it actually reached the pinnacle. Hey guys, thank y'all so much. I see y'all are just going off on the pancakes. Texas Leo, do not use IPA with your pancakes. They probably would end up dry. It would evaporate. Something would happen. I don't know. Cheesy Chains, how are you doing? Good to see you. I didn't realize you were in the room. We got Alien back here, guys. Thank y'all so much for coming in here. Thank you for the gifts. We got more from Greg W. How are you doing tonight? I didn't see Greg come in. Kawhi Rogue, thank y'all. We are at 16.2K, guys. Y'all are doing amazing tonight. As y'all always do. IPA is also beer. No, you are correct. So it took me a minute. Now, in my head, I'm going, that's beer. Yes, I want IPA with my pancakes. Mix it in with the pancakes. So, and now we're going to get to some 3D printing, guys. I know y'all have had some 3D printing questions and stuff, and I have some stuff as well. And we're going to kind of go through a lot of the basics with her as far as like, what is your favorite filament? Do you have a favorite brand, and do you have a favorite like specific, I like this spool with this color, blah, blah, blah?
Man, hard to say. I mean, I love coming on here and talking about polar filaments. I feel like they're cool because like they were I mean Cookie Cat's like this too. Both of them are cool in the sense to me that like they're very integrated in like the 3D printing community. And I love that. I love like when brands are part of like the community that they sell into. I think that that's so cool. Who's the people who do the rainbow filament? I know somebody will know who I'm talking about.
The rainbow. It depends on which one you're talking about. I know a lot.
Oh God, why am I blanking right now?
Does anybody know who does the rainbow filament?
Please, somebody help in the comments. The rainbow filament, and they're also part of the community, and they're so great. They've sent me filament before, and they're such
Dud
such nice
V2?
people. Dud V2, yes.
Okay.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Yes, Dud V2, they're great too. I think all three of those companies, I just really love the way that they like interact with the community. I think that that's really cool. Something like people do often ask, they're like, oh, like, is this filament good? Is that filament good? And I know some people have feelings about this. I have never found a filament I hated. I think all filament works pretty decently, and that's why I think something like being part of the community, being like a cool brand, doing cool stuff is really cool. But with all that said, I do love me some burnt titanium and some witchcraft by Cookie Cat. Those are my two absolute all-time favorites.
Those are a good one. Those are really good. I've really been into the Funfetti from them lately. I love their Funfetti one. It's really nice. Yeah. All right. First printer.
Under 3v2.
Ender 3v2. Now, you still run it?
I don't run it.
Okay.
I still have it. It's not functional. I modified that printer to oblivion. That's a tip that I would give to new 3D printers out there. It's gonna sound so like you should totally do all these upgrades, and I would say maybe just don't, because it at least for me didn't end the best. But it's a little sentimental to me. I'm like a sentimental person, so I can't get rid of it. But yeah, it's not really functional.
Yeah, I don't know that I plan on getting rid of any of my printers. I think they'll end up being on a shelf like my cameras one day. I'll just have to have bigger shelves.
Yeah, for sure.
I understand. And apparently Cheesy's saying they bullied you into getting a bamboo.
They did bully me into getting this printer behind me, because I used to come on here and I would say that I love my Ender and I was never getting a Bamboo Labs, but here we are, and now I say how much I love that printer. So they did successfully bully me into it.
Yeah, they were good. I got talked into getting one, and I got the A1, and I returned the A1 when the whole, with all the stuff that was happening.
Right.
Just because of the printer that I'm saving up for, and I kind of, it's a good printer. I was very surprised the quality of some of the stuff that they've put out. I've really enjoyed playing with the ones when I get to go hang out with my friend Courtney, and play with all of her printers and everything. It's a lot of fun just to kind of play with those, and learn how to paint and all of that. So it's a lot of fun. So would the Bamboo be like your favorite printer right now at this point, or do you have another that's your favorite, or how many? It's
for sure my favorite right now. I technically have 6 in total. So I have 2 Under 3v2s. It's like I say 5.5, because I have 2 Under 3v2s. I have a Sculpto 2, which if you don't know what that is, that's what I consider my half printer. It's a weird little machine.
It's a little.
I have
round one.
A little round, yeah. I have a Snapmaker 3-in-1 original, and then I have the Snapmaker A250. That's probably my second favorite machine. I really love that machine. If you're not familiar with Snapmakers, not all of them, but what's cool about the A250, 350, 3-in-1, they're a 3D printer, but they're also a laser engraver, and they're a CNC. So I think that's such a cool thing to have, especially if you have limited space to have like multiple capabilities on one machine. So that's probably my second favorite. So it's 5, and then the Bamboo is number 6 behind me.
Okay, that's awesome. Now, do you have who's the one person and the most inspirational person for you in the 3D printing world, whether it's a printer, designer, whatever? Who?
Man, there's so many out there. What I will say is the first person who, before I was even on TikTok, like when I was researching 3D printers, was Uncle Jesse. Was like the first person. I watched his videos before I got into 3D printing, and I was like, this is so cool, I have to get one of these. So he was kind of like a big inspiration behind me getting it. Now I don't even want to name people, because there's so many people that I would miss, but there's so many people who just are very, I draw a lot of inspiration from on here.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. And I know it puts people on the spot sometimes when I ask that question, but sometimes they have, they have a really, really awesome person. So projects coming up. I know you said you were kind of looking, you had the one that you showed that you're working on. Do you have we talked about terrariums and other stuff. Do you have other projects that you haven't talked about that you were thinking about doing? Do you, So I'm doing the multi-board. I've been like
Oh,
this
that's a good
wall,
project.
this wall back to the side of here, as I've been setting the multi-board up and been having fun with that.
Okay.
Do you do any of that type of stuff? Or you were about to say a particular project?
Yeah, so right now I don't know even what the file name is off the top of my head. Maybe some people, if you are constantly browsing Cults 3D, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I wish I could even remember the maker's name, but somebody released a file of this giant, it looks like a giant alocasia, and it's actually robotic, and it moves, and it has sensors on it, and it lights up. It's very cool. It's very intricate. It's super outside of my comfort zone. So that's kind of like the project that I have my eyes on right now that I think I want to take on. I have like a couple little like mini robotic starter kits that I think I'm gonna experiment with
Okay.
before I get into that project just to get my feet wet. But that's kind of like what's really on like in the back of my mind right now that I want to work on.
Okay. Okay. That's pretty cool. That's cool. Well, that's the
Yeah.
guys, y'all got anything? Talk with me here. Y'all are like talking amongst yourselves. I love this.
Ray saw it. That's cool. I'm glad you
There's
know what I'm talking about.
Daisy is we got other people talking about Daisy being influential. We got
Oh, Daisy Lee. She's
yeah,
great. I love
Daisy.
her.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm working on her right now. I'm hoping I can interview her within the next month or so. Um,
Yeah. She's
and
great.
she's really good. She does some fun stuff.
Oh, Wild Stallions. I love them
Yep,
too. Yeah.
that's
Yeah. He
they
was
were
on
the
Meet the
ones.
Makers. Cool
Yeah,
interview.
they were the ones who got me into doing time lapses.
Oh,
And
nice. Yeah.
we're doing all that, and so now I've been able to take it to like Cookie Cat. I do the photography for Cookie Cat and
Oh,
all their
nice.
time lapses and everything. Cheesy says, "Meet the Makers rules."
Thanks, Cheesy Chains. Cheesy Chains is another inspirational one on here. Very fun personality, fun content.
I
So yeah,
know
they
he's a good guy, and I think he's going to make the Mr. Beast status one day. I know he's really
yeah,
really working hard to try and get there and figure out how to make that work. But I'm hoping that for him because he'd be perfect for it. He would
yeah.
very very good for it. All right, guys. Should I y'all have more questions? Should I give her the nerd test? What are y'all thinking? Talk with me here. No, Cheesy, you're awesome. Can't wait to hang out with you tomorrow night at the Wine and Paint. He's going to
Yeah.
do some magic tomorrow night.
Ooh,
I know he's
very
going to be
cool.
going through the rooms and kind of having a little bit of fun there. I've never actually seen him do magic, so I'm
Yeah.
excited to see that.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Crafty Labs 3D. Yeah, we got a lot of people still talking about just inspirations. There are a lot of inspirational people within the 3D world. Totally, totally. Now, do you do?
Yeah.
A lot of people run Raspberry Pis and stuff. Do you do any type of automation like that with your printers, or do you just walk to them and print?
I never have. I'm not like a very technical person at heart, which is funny because I work in like a tech space, but I'm not innately very technical. So the closest I've gotten to that was I had when it first came out the Creality Sonic Pad, which was kind of like a workaround way to get Clipper on your Ender style printer without having to like download it onto a Raspberry Pi. So
Right.
that was like the most I've ever dabbled in
Okay.
that world. But yeah.
Okay, we got favorite printer of all time. I think we hit that one. She loves her bamboo printer.
Yeah. Yeah, my
Um,
bamboo's our little baby over here.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
People are gonna be so mad at this. I don't really watch either. I've never seen Star Trek. But I did at one point start when I first started the Mandalorian helmet, I started watching Star Wars and I never finished it. So
I love it. I love it. Are you a video game person? Or somebody's asking favorite video game.
ooh, I would consider. I think what the kids call it is. I think I'm a cozy gamer. So like I'm not like a hardcore gamer, but I do. My favorite game of all times is The Sims. Like totally
Okay.
could play it forever, all times. But yeah, I just love like games like that. I like zoo games. I like Animal Crossing. I like recently I've been playing Dreamlight Valley. So yeah, traditional like cozy gamer girl games is what I like to play.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out Cheesy Chain's questions. We need to know if it's Petiffy, P-T-I-F-F-Y for Misfit. I don't know.
I don't know what
Sure.
he means either. I feel like I probably should, but I feel like I still don't know what he means. Hopefully
So,
there's a clarifying question.
yeah, and Martin says you need to finish Mandalorian. That's the only one he seems. Oh, PTFE for short. I don't know.
Oh, I wonder if they're talking about pet cheese.
I did
I
like
think
Pet Cheese. He was so cute.
I do have my moldy and my traditional pet cheese here, if
That's
that's what you're
awesome.
talking about.
I love those. I
Yeah, they're
love those.
super cute. Finn
Awesome.
Finn made these. Finn is great maker out there. So yeah, shout
Yeah.
out to Finn.
Awesome. Yeah, Finn is a good guy. He's a really good guy. All right. Looking to see if there's last minute, guys. Last minute to get some questions in. Pet cheese rules. Oh, I got you, Ray. Pit feed tubes, PTFE tubes. No, I'm not into that one. I'm sticking with the PTFE. What's this month's calendar? Well, before we get to
Ooh.
this month's you've got a calendar. Ooh,
I do. Yeah.
what's this
Well,
month's calendar?
maybe
Ooh,
you don't know
please.
about my
No,
month
I
calendar, but
don't.
so yeah, I've actually been out of, you're gonna love this actually. This is from Cheesy Chains, and I was out of town the last two at the beginning of the months, but Cheesy Chains got us this anatomically correct birds calendar, and we are currently in
Do I need to
the
get the
month, it's
beep ready?
March.
Do I need to get the
No,
beeper
no, you
ready?
don't have to get the feed, but I think that this is March, and this is our bird for March, and yeah, it's a great calendar. So I would highly recommend anyone. You don't even have to be a bird enthusiast, but I would highly recommend picking up this calendar because it's a great source of joy. And I thank you, Cheesy Chains,
The
for sending us this.
extremely wait, hold it up again. Let me read that.
Oh,
Extremely
yes.
accurate birds. Okay.
Yes.
There you go,
Yes.
guys. There you go. Is it in your store on TikTok? Is it in your
I think they, I had it in there and they took it down. They didn't
Oh
want
no.
they didn't want to be promoting it anymore. So you'll have to seek it out on other places of the internet. But yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, if y'all are out of questions, I'm kind of out of questions, but I do want to let the people who don't know where to find Misfit, I want to let y'all know where to find her. So the best place is just like anybody else, guys. Just jump over to that link tree, head over to her bio. You'll see all of the different ways that you can contact her. She's got everything here: P.O. Box, email, got all the different places. She has Meet the Makers where you can watch and listen. She's got everything down here in her link tree, all of her socials and everything. So you can't go wrong by visiting that bio and just following her. If you don't follow her, follow her. Get over there, follow her. If you don't follow her, who are you following, right? Designing Life. But that's that's all I got tonight, guys. I can't ask any more questions. I've learned so much about her. My brain is really, really full. And now as we get ready to work on closing this out, do you have anything you want to add to what we've talked about tonight? Any final thoughts?
Man, final thoughts. This one always trips me up.
Tough.
It's such a difficult question at the same time. Well, I guess for anybody out there, if you're looking to get into making content, if you're looking to get into 3D printing, if you're looking to just do weird projects that you aren't sure if you know how to do, I would recommend doing all of the above. I think even if you don't feel like you have the skills to do it, you will learn the skills along the way. And even if your first thing or your first 1,000 things come out I'll bleep myself, not good. You'll get better over time, and it's a journey either way. So definitely, whatever it is that you want to do, get out there and do it, and it will all work out.
All right, that's awesome. Well, guys, so last thing we're gonna do here, we have had some requests for the nerd test. We'll give the nerd test, we'll take the vote, and then we will head out, guys. Thank y'all so much. 18.2K, that is awesome. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you, Designing Life, for the bracelets and the heart me, guys. Thank you so much. So here we go with the nerd test. I'm going to ask the standard questions. And hey, if y'all have any other questions you want me to add to this nerd test, please let me know. I'm going to start exchanging them out and adding a couple of different things. But here's the nerdiness test. First, how many digits of pi do you know?
I think I know. Okay. So it's 3.1415926535897932. That's all I know.
Okay,
sorry, that's all I got.
That is so much further than anybody. Most people are like 3 point. Well, yeah, 3 point something. That's awesome. All right, what's your favorite TV show?
I don't watch TV, but no, I never watched TV. But when I did, I used to like Mr. Robot. That was one of the only shows I've ever watched.
Do you like sports?
No, I don't watch it. I don't watch sports either. I'm not athletic. I'm the antithesis of athletic. So no.
Okay,
No
okay.
sports.
Have you watched Dune 2 yet?
I don't even know what that is.
There we
Oh my
go. All
God.
right. What's your favorite hobby?
Obviously 3D printing.
Obviously, obviously. How do you finish the phrase? If I say the phrase, settlers of.
Settlers of Catan,
There you
right?
go. You got
Yeah,
it. All
okay.
right. We know about the do you play an instrument? We got the violin, but
Yes.
you have a caveat in there. Have you ever gelled your hair?
No, I have not. No.
How do you feel about Harry Potter?
You can take it or leave it.
What's the airspeed and velocity of an unladen swallow?
I'm assuming that's some kind of bird, so we're gonna go with 15 miles per hour.
That's awesome. It's actually a reference to a movie. What movie is that a reference to, guys? Come on. Y'all know that one. And while y'all are typing that in, I'm going to start this vote. So if she's a nerd, smiley face. If she's not a nerd, crying face. There you go. You got 1 minute, guys. Get that vote going. Let's see. Nerd or not. Yes, there you go. Ray got it in first. Monty Python. Search for the Holy
Okay.
Grail. So it's a reference to, they've got this whole joke about people asking questions, and they're like, well, if this bird grabbed the coconut by the husk, and it's one of those dry British humor,
I was gonna say, I think you had to be there. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Here we got 10 people saying, wow, you're a nerd. Look at that. 11 to
Oh.
1 so far. We got 24 seconds. This is looking awesome. This is great.
I mean,
Good guess.
I identify as a nerd personally.
I know, right? Exactly. Well, sometimes it's nice to have a vote and really be able to feel
really
positively
solidify
about-
it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
One day
Yeah.
they'll vote on me, and I don't know how that vote will go. So. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Misfit, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
This was fun.
It's been a good, a really fun night. I really enjoyed getting to know you. I like a lot of the stuff that we have in common, and that's one of the great things about meeting these creators, guys. Is just we're all normal people. Everybody in the room, all of us, we're people here. We're having fun doing what we do, and we learn from each other. And so y'all keep coming back, guys. Keep showing up, because there's a lot of good things happening. If you're at the Wine and Paint tomorrow night, I will see you tomorrow night. Next Tuesday, we're going to do some more news and just the normal project stuff. And then I've got Filamatrix, a new filament company out of Virginia that I'm going to be interviewing next Thursday. So I'm excited about that one. Haven't talked to them yet, but that's going to be a good interview. We got Sassy Cat coming up, On the Road 3D Printing, all sorts of people that we're going to be talking to in the next month or so. But thank you, guys. So just remember, live life to the fullest, grow in wisdom, and show what you have learned generously. Y'all have a great evening. I'll see y'all next week.